Thank you. All right. Time is now 20 minutes after 10 o'clock in the morning. As the rector of St. John's Episcopal Church, I hereby call to order the 152nd annual meeting of the parish. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with us who take counsel in this place for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Is Joan here? Okay. The minutes of the 151st annual meeting were included in the report that was sent out to the parish, both electronically and in hard copy. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the 151st annual meeting? All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion carries. The minutes of the 151st annual meeting are approved. Yes, Bill.
A word about the annual report itself. Complete, detailed, well presented, and it tells very clearly the story of our lives together in this place in the past year, both here and elsewhere as we go beyond.
Thank you, Bill. We move now to the report of the nominating committee. I call upon Carolyn Stewart, who is also a member of the nominating committee, as well as our outgoing warden, to present the slate from the committee.
The nominating committee is, under our bylaws, consists of the rector, one warden, moi, and 3 members of the parish who are not members of the vestry. And this committee is appointed by the vestry. So the members who have served for the last couple or 3 years are Pete Goodwin, Alex Garcia-Mata, and Jonathan Pope. And the new vestry will be reconstituting that committee, and I know that at least some of them are going to step down, and we certainly appreciate the service that they've given. So the report of the nominating committee: for wardens to serve until the annual meeting of 2015, Astrid F. Klinteberg and Catherine McGeary. For treasurer to serve until the annual meeting of 2015, Elizabeth Redmond. Clerk to serve until the annual meeting of 2015, Joan Gorga. Vestry members to serve until the annual meeting of 2017, Norman Barr, Ian Bedford, and Kim Prentice. Delegates to the 2014 diocesan conventions, Mark Murray Brown and Carolyn Stewart. Alternates to the 2014 diocesan conventions, Astrid F. Klinteberg and Catherine McGeary. Delegates to the North Shore Deanery 2014, Julian Murray Brown and Bryn Sibley.
So let's go through each of the roles and ask for nominations from the floor. Are there any nominations from the floor for wardens to serve until annual meeting 2015? Are there any nominations from the floor for treasurer? Any for clerk? Any for vestry members? Any for delegates to the diocesan conventions? Any for alternates to the diocesan conventions? Any for delegates to the North Shore Deanery? Very well. Is there a motion to approve the slate as presented? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Very well, the slate is passed as presented. We now move to the next item on our agenda, the committee and guild reports as printed in the annual report. The floor is open for questions and discussion. If you wish to ask a question or make a comment, perhaps raise your hand. Very well. Is there a motion to accept the committee and guild reports as presented? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The committee and guild reports have been approved as presented. We now move to the financial reports. The chair calls Elizabeth Redmond to present the Treasurer's report and the 2014 budget.
Good morning. We're moving along at quite a clip here. So maybe I'm just supposed to say the bottom line and sit down again. But I have a little bit more to say than that. I wanted to start out with something that has really been said over and over again, so I won't elaborate, but it's really been a blessing for me and a privilege to serve in this role. And others have said today how much it means to them, Dave talked about this, to participate here. And it's been a part of my ongoing conversion, which continues. And on a Saturday morning when I come in and I open the folder of materials that Betsy Levick has left for me, and I never quite know what I'm going to find in there for me to sign, it's just a wonderful window into our communal lives together, the little things that we have to buy and who's involved in what. And I just wanted to say it's a privilege. And it's also been a privilege to work with the good people that I work with, the staff, Betsy especially. She and I are in constant communication, and she's very patient. The wardens, Bret, volunteers. I know we've changed a few little policies and procedures in our efforts to always do the right thing in our stewardship of our joint resources, and we ruffle a few feathers along the way. Please know that everything is within good intent, and there is a good reason behind it, and we try to be minimal in our cramping of people's styles. So, that said, I hope you had a chance to read the report that's in the annual report. The bottom line is we do spend more than we earn. We know this. And we budgeted for fiscal 2013 a deficit of $44,000. So when we say deficit, that means funds that we're taking out of the endowment beyond what is a sustainable draw. We budgeted a deficit of $44,000 and came out with a deficit of only $30,000. So that is really good news. And that's a testament to everybody's hard work and ingenuity, figuring out ways to do things without spending money, working really hard. So for the coming year, for 2014, likewise, we have a large deficit projected. And it, as you'll see, it's $48,000 at the bottom line. Now, there's a couple of caveats to that. One is that the Finance Committee recommended that we reduce the operating draw on the endowment. So what we have been taking that we consider a sustainable draw is 5% of a trailing 12-quarter average. That means you look back at what has been the ending balance of the endowment over the last 3 years, quarterly, average it, and take 5%. The reason you do that trailing average is to smooth the effects of up markets and down markets. So we've been taking 5%, but starting in around 2008, people who manage not-for-profit endowments started to think that 5% was a little aggressive because we've seen some very down times in the last 5 years. So the vestry recommended, the Finance Committee recommended to the vestry to reduce the draw to 4.5%. So what we're bringing into the 2014 operating budget is 4.5% of the endowment, and that automatically shifts an increase to the deficit. But we think it's the right thing to do so that it puts more pressure on us to try to raise earned income and increase our giving, just so that we're aware of the fact that we always need to do more on the income side. So that's one aspect. And the other is that the budget for next year is conservative, and I expect we will come out better. And we need to look to the places on the income side that we did well this year. One of them is pledges. We increased by 5, I believe, the number of households that are making pledges. St. John's is supported by only 77 households, which is really not a large number for what we do. We also picked up some pledges from new members last year, and that's a place we all need to look and make sure we're welcoming new members, telling them how to get involved, and encouraging them to support St. John's financially. Another place is the thrift shop. The thrift shop is a win-win-win. It's a great service to the community. It helps us get rid of the stuff that is clogging up our homes, and it's a good source of revenue for the church. And let me see if there was one more thing I wanted to mention in that score. Oh, and the holiday fair made budget and was a great success. So I think we need to look at the places where we are bringing in income and make sure we continue to support them and facilitate them, do what they need to do. If we need to clean out the undercroft to make more room for these projects, we need to prioritize that. On the expense side, a lot of thought has been given to the expense, and can we reduce it any further? And we really feel, the finance committee's looked at this, the vestry's looked at this. Chuck Everett, as treasurer, has put a lot of time into this as my predecessor. We think it's about as low as it can go without really changing how we live out our ministry and mission here in Gloucester today. So we believe we're going to continue to have a deficit for the foreseeable future. We need to look at where that would be headed in a long-term situation. We know that we will be getting some bequests that were promised during the Together Now campaign. Those are down the road. So we know there's a possibility for the endowment to grow. And we also have to have faith that if we believe we're doing the right thing in terms of God's work here now, we will be assisted in finding the resources we need to continue that work. So that is really what I wanted to say in kind of a very big picture view. I'm happy to entertain questions on both current year's spending and the next year's budget. And the reason why I didn't spend a lot of time breaking them down is because they're really quite similar. So any questions? Jim. Yes, thank you. I absolutely meant to say that. I did. I really did. So the green team is, that is the one area where we feel there might be some savings still remaining. Pete Goodwin had given us that remarkable statistics that these lights are now using 320 watts compared to something like 3,700 watts. So we do expect to see some reduction in electricity. However, we also feel that the building is being used a great deal, which is a good thing, but that's going to trend the other way on the expense. And yes, I very much meant to mention that Chuck Everett is spearheading an effort to get an expert in on sort of forward-thinking heating for houses of worship. And we expect to do that with seed money from the Together Now campaign in the next month or so. And there is another round of green grants coming up from the diocese in April. So, yeah, that's a place where we will look for some savings. Anything else, Gwen?
This may not be, this is done off of your comments. Our number of pledging units, which speaks to the size of our parish. I'm curious
I can speak to that. And first of all, I want to apologize for this search taking so long. I know it's been a source of anxiety for many people, which, of course, is only an expression of how important children's ministry is to most of us here. I am pleased to report, however, that the search committee and I have found a number of strong candidates and have whittled them down to 2 exceptionally strong finalists. The first of those has already come in for their finalist round and submitted, and both of them have submitted a plan for their first 6 months should they be the one appointed here. The second will be coming to meet for their finalist round this week, and so I look forward to being able to announce an appointment and a start date in February. So I know it's been taking a long time, but as I said last Sunday, nothing but the best will do for this parish if I have anything to say about it, and that is what you will be getting. So, yes, it's my pleasure. It will be my great pleasure to bring someone on board, and please also, if you get the chance, to thank Melanie, Dave, Kim, Kelly Backstrom, and Jan Goodwin. They've been doing great work on the search committee, and we have been encouraging each other in the face of some disappointments along the way. Because we had one person who was great and then bailed the day before I was going to offer the job. But anyway.
Several months ago.
Right. Well, and so there you have it.
And just to address that, and thanks, Bret, in terms of the budget, that position is fully funded through 2 particularly large donations made to the Together Now campaign, as well as some other allocations of that fund. So that's a neutral effect on the budget in terms of expense out the door, and hopefully something that will help us grow. Adele. By the way, while you're standing up, I'm going to say that our budget is, we have what I think of as a base budget, which is what we make through our stewardship pledges and our investment income, the money that we earn through our activities, and that pays for our basic expenses. In 2013, we were able to do another almost $50,000 worth of improvements to the building and some other activities, some of the 150th anniversary activities and the website, and that is largely due to the generosity of this lady over here who puts the interests of St. John's very high up in her use of her energy and resources, and we thank you for that, Adele.
And you don't know about
Thank you.